Hey, everybody, welcome to our webinar. We are very, very excited that you are here. Don't feel the need to put any sort of email addresses or schedule a time to watch this. Honestly, it's free and you can watch it whenever you want. I hope that you get a ton of value from it. Now, in this webinar, we discuss a very specific retainer-based contract that my video production and strategy company closed with a custom home builder in the amount of $150,000. Now, so many people were asking about this one specific deal that we held some Zoom calls with over 250 filmmakers from all over the world to answer questions and really kind of dive into this very specific deal. Now, in this webinar, we're going to discuss the three main things that I focus on in business that allowed me to not only get this $150,000 deal, but all the other high-paying retainer-based contracts and clients that I work with. Now, the presentation's about 50 minutes long, so feel free to watch that. We did have so many people ask questions that we went on for about another hour, so I will make the question and answer session available in a separate video. The presentation is actually about 50 minutes long, and feel free to watch it at any time. Absolutely free. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you have questions about our course, the Real Deal Video Strategist Club, send us an email. Let's set up some time to chat. We'd love to help. But with that, let's go ahead and start the webinar and enjoy. Hope you get something out of it. Okay, awesome. That was everybody, right, Mark?
Yep, unless I missed someone. I think that was everyone.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to have Mark introduce himself. He's my marketing partner. He's somebody that I collaborate with on a regular basis and helps my business out tremendously. So, yeah, Mark, go ahead and let everybody know who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Marc Cloutier. I'm located outside of Providence, Rhode Island. So a lot of New Englanders here between Boston and Maine, and myself in Rhode Island. That's awesome. I've been self-employed for about 6 years. Started my first business in college. That was actually in Virginia, and that was a concert promotion and production company. I'm not in the video industry, unlike you all. We did everything from nightclub shows to multi-day festivals and just about everything in between. Sold that a couple years ago and started doing digital marketing full time. I've been doing that ever since. I've got a couple agencies. Some are very broad, some are more niche, and been fortunate enough to connect with David over the past several months and work on some awesome projects. And I'm excited to be here and meet you all and help you guys out.
Good stuff. All right. Well, let me go ahead and introduce myself, guys. And just so y'all are aware, my fiance is actually going to be taking our little dog to the vet here in a little bit. So if you see a little commotion, that's what that's all about. But so my name is David. I'm the owner of Take 17 Video Productions. We're based here in Austin, Texas. I want to give you guys a little bit about my background because my background really kind of explains how I go about approaching bigger clients and being able to deliver on what they need. So I actually spent 15 years in the finance world, in the business world. So, I worked for big banks, I worked for financing companies, and I did pretty much everything. I did sales, operations, project management, recruiting, training, HR, marketing. I did quite a bit of stuff in that industry. And a lot of the things that I learned over 15 years, I've been able to apply very successfully into my video production and strategy company. I also have a military background. So I was a line medic for an infantry unit for just about 7 years, almost 7 years. Do we have any other veterans or active duty military with us? You can raise your hand if you are. Nobody? Okay. So I'm going to talk about some stuff that I learned in the military. And the knowledge that I gained in the 15 years in the business world and the 7 years in the military and some of the things that I apply from that allowed me to basically start my video production and strategy company from complete scratch. I had a Canon 60D, I had a kit lens, and I invested in a Ronin S, and I started with that. And within 15 months, we were able to close over $200,000 in business. And that was with me being a somewhat new videographer. I always had a passion for it, and I had a GoPro that I played with quite a bit, but I wasn't by any means like a super professional, very technical, high-end like videographer, technically speaking. So for those of you who are kind of new to it or thinking about jumping in full-time, I want you to know that it's 100% possible for you to be very successful, but you have to understand quite a bit about what's going in from a technical aspect as well as a business aspect. And Jason had mentioned that a little bit earlier, that's part of the stuff that he's interested in getting in the call. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. I think everybody that's going to join has already joined, so I'm just going to switch on over to this. Guys, as we go through this, if you have questions, it's hard for me to kind of monitor those and see everybody's hands. So if you have a question, just put it in the chat. And then after we go through the little presentation that I've put together, Marc will kind of monitor those questions and he'll let me know who had a question and we can answer those at the very end. But yeah, it's awesome to have everybody on here. My company is all corporate and commercial work. So we don't do any video work for weddings and stuff like that. We work with businesses in different industries. So home builders, tech companies, medical companies, high-end commercial and residential home services, stuff like that. We have a wide range of clientele. And what really helps me to book a lot of these bigger clients is my understanding of this phrase right here, right? So a lot of us are very focused on this part of it, right? The video production part, all the cool stuff. So the breaking out of the awesome cameras, the lights, the drones, all the cool audio equipment, we're focused here. And in all reality, there's this whole other aspect to working in this space, and it's the corporate and commercial part. So pretty much the business part. And this is the part that allows me to separate from other videographers in my area and allows me to bring in really, really big clients. And we're going to cover this part in detail today. So when it comes to my business philosophy, I want to make sure that you guys are kind of understanding of how I approach not only my business, but, talking with clients and whatnot, and how I'm getting in front of these bigger clients and landing these deals. So the first thing in my business philosophy is fish for bigger fish. And we've heard a few people on the call already talking about how they want to, get bigger clients and do bigger jobs. And we'll cover kind of my take on that. Second thing is I'm always thinking business, not video. I always put business first, and I talk about that first, and we're gonna discuss that in depth. And then the last thing, and the reason this is bolded, is this is something that I learned in the military, and it's kind of the cornerstone of my business philosophy, and I run everything off of this. But it's basically the understanding of the difference between tactics and logistics, and how I can use tactics and logistics to help my clients actually get a return on investment. So part of the confidence stuff, and I think it was Angela that said she wants to work on the confidence stuff. Part of the confidence is knowing that if you deliver a project, that your client is going to get a big return on investment from that project. And once you have that confidence and knowing that, you'll start to see your prices go up and up and up, because your value is going to be more, because you know that what you are creating is actually going to get a return on investment for your client. So we'll talk about that in depth. So let's hop into the first one. Fish for bigger fish. Simply put, guys, if you want to land big clients, you have to target big clients. And one of the things that I see in a lot of the filmmaking groups that I'm part of is that, filmmakers will go for super low level clients. They'll go for, the people who are kind of breaking into the real estate industry, and they're just kind of your average startup real estate agent. They'll go after a lot of mom and pop restaurants. They'll go after, garage bands. If they want to make music videos, they'll try to, book garage bands and have these bands paying them money. Even in the fitness industry, and I think it was Alyssa, I'm going to have a question for you here in a little bit about the fitness industry. But, folks will try to target, that personal trainer that's just trying to start up and trying to get their feet wet and whatnot. And the reality is, guys, is a lot of these folks that are being targeted might not have the money to pay you what you really want to get paid. It's not that that's not a good idea for them to have a video strategy, because it absolutely is. And it's not that it's not possible for a videographer to go out and make a living helping these people. It's just that if you want a $150,000 client, you're going to have to target a client that has $150,000, because if they don't have that money, logic tells you they're not going to be able to pay you that. Okay. So one of the things that I always ask is, where is the money at within any specific industry, right? And I guarantee you somebody has the money, because if the money wasn't there, then it wouldn't be an industry. There wouldn't be a real estate industry, a music industry, a medical industry, whatever it is. So where is the money at in these industries? And we're going to use real estate as an example, because obviously today we're going to talk about $150,000 custom home builder deal. So again, does the typical average real estate agent have enough money to pay you big sums of money? Chances are they probably don't, guys. If you've never really talked to a real estate agent, I encourage you to do so and understand like the amount of work they put in to sell a home, how long that takes, and how much they're actually getting compensated for that. The average real estate agent in Texas, anyways, only gets about a 1.5% commission on the sale of a home. So, if they sold a $250,000 home and they're getting a 1.5% commission, and that factors in all of their time and expenses over how long it took to sell that home, it's not a giant sum of money, something where they're going to be able to pay you a ton to do video work for. It is super smart for them to have a video strategy, but they simply are not going to have as much money. That's why when you see people talking about getting into real estate, they say it's really smart to target the luxury real estate agents, right? Because the commission on a $2.5 million home is going to be significantly more than the commission on a $250,000 home. So that real estate agent is going to be able to pay you a little bit more money. So we start to think about, where's the money at? Right? The luxury real estate agent is going to have that money. Now, even with that said, more times than not, if a luxury real estate agent comes and talks to me, chances are I am sending them somewhere else because I want to target an even bigger fish than the luxury real estate agent. And there's a couple of reasons why. For the first part, if the agent comes to me and says, I want a walkthrough video of this $3 million home, I can create that walkthrough video, but once that home sells, then the value of that video dips down, right? Mainly because that luxury real estate likely is not going to sell that same very home again. So they can only really use that video once to sell that home. Once the home is sold, the value dips down. Now, there is still value in having the video because that luxury real estate agent can turn around and tell all their future clients, hey, listen, this is what I do to get, top asking price for your home. I have these awesome videos created and it helps us get better prices. So it's still smart to create those, but compared to a custom home builder, it's a little bit different, okay? So I wanna compare the $2.5 million home to a $250,000 home from the aspect of the luxury real estate agent and the custom home builder. So this custom home builder that I'm working with currently, they pay me approximately $2,500 to create videos for their 1,900 square foot homes that sell for anywhere between $250,000 and $300,000, right? So $2,500 to create a video walkthrough as part of the strategy seems like quite a bit until you think, well, if they sell one of those homes and that home sale came to them because of the video strategy that we put into place, that's great. But then they can go sell that floor plan over and over and over and over and over. So if my video strategy allows them to sell 10 additional of those floor plans this year or 20 additional, well then $250,000 times 10 or 20, that is a much bigger return on investment for them. And not only that, but they can sell that floor plan for the next 5, 10, 15 years, right? So when it comes to the luxury one-off $2.5 million home versus the $250,000 home for a custom home builder, I find a lot more value in that. And that custom home builder is much more willing to pay me $2,500 to create that video, okay? And that's just part of the strategy involved in the deal that I'm currently working. But again, who in the industry has the money? In the real estate industry, is it the architectural firms that create the designs for the commercial buildings and the residential buildings? Is it the material suppliers? Is it the custom and spec home builders? Is it the property managers? Or maybe even the land developers? Land developers who go out and buy like 600 acres of land and they're going to put a master plan community on that. Do they have the money to pay you for a video strategy that's going to help them do what it is they need? And that's filling up that land space. So I'm always asking myself, where in the industry is the money? Because if I want to target, or if I want to get the big clients, I need to target the big clients. And this goes for any industry. I'm going to have Marc talk about the music industry since he promoted music festivals in the past. Marc, when you were working in that industry, what would you guys typically pay for video, being that you guys were the promoters of these types of events?
Sure. So pretty much every big event we did, we'd get at least 2 videos made. The first would be a promo video to hype people up and try to drive ticket sales. The second would be an after movie. So when people missed the event, we'd say, hey, check this out. Look at all the fun people had. You better come to the next one. And we would pay between 3 to 5,000 per video. So if someone did 2 videos per event, they're looking at 6 to 10K. And that was at a discounted rate because the videographer was a good friend. So venues and promoters can definitely afford to pay you a decent amount of money. And we weren't even a huge promoter. Our festivals were like 10 to 30,000 people. Their festivals with hundreds of thousands of people. So they could pay a lot of money. There's a lot of money in the music industry if you look in the right place.
So yeah, when I see people targeting garage bands and they're like, hey, you need to make a music video, and they're struggling to get that garage band to pay them 300, 400, $500, I'm wondering, well, why don't you go target like the venues or the promoters or the record labels or the agents? Somebody in that industry has the money, and if you really want to get paid, you're going to have to start working and getting in front of those people to start landing those jobs. So something to think about, where in the industry is the money? And Alyssa, I'm gonna call on you if you don't mind. So I'm gonna ask you to unmute here.
Yep, got it.
You worked in the personal fitness. You had a gym, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So can you give us a little insight on maybe like people who are just getting into personal training? Do they have a lot of money to pay, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for video production, or is that something that the normal personal trainer would be able to do?
The normal personal trainer would typically not have that kind of a budget for marketing starting out. In fitness, somebody you would look more towards would be, I would think, like a bigger gym, like go to like Equinox corporate versus the trainer that works at Equinox, because in fitness in general, it's very, very easy to get certified. So there's people coming out of certifications that spent like $200, $150. They studied for like 3 months. So it's kind of like in video, what I'm finding, there's a lot of people that say they can do it. And there's a lot of entry level, but there's only a few that really know what's up and have the business acumens to, be able to pay you that much. So I would say personal trainers are small fish in general.
Awesome. Thank you for your input. So yeah, guys, my point being is that if you find yourself trying to convince people or attracting people that simply don't have the money to pay that, you're just not going to get paid that. And if you're already getting paid, $1,000, $2,500 per video, and you want to step up to the next level, start to think, all right, who's the next level up, and who do I need to get in front of that's going to have the money to pay me that? So Alyssa, thank you so much for your input on that. Let me go back to my screen here. And again, if you guys have questions, make sure to put them in the chat. That way Marc can keep an eye on those and put them in there as you think about them. That way you don't forget about them towards the end of the thing here. Okay, next thing that I really focus on is I think business, I don't think video. And the reality is that business owners and high level business leaders are thinking about one thing, and that's, how do I get the results that I want to get? Okay. What is the plan to get me from where I am to where I need to be or want to be? And it doesn't matter what part of their business, right? A lot of people think that it's just about sales and generating leads and more sales. But in all reality, some business leaders are like, how do I attract investors to invest in my company? How do I provide better training for my employees so that, they're closing leads at a higher percentage, or they're not making the mistakes that are costing us money? How do I, even attract the highest quality talent to come and work for my company? So whatever it is that the business owner or leader is looking to accomplish, what is the plan that is going to get us there, right? If you show them a plan on how they can make their business better using a potato, right? And you show them backup on how that potato is going to get them the results that they want, they'll buy the potato, right? They're looking for results. They're not looking for the potato. They're actually looking for the results of that. And it's the same thing with video, right? If you come to them and all you say is, I have a video and I can make you look good, but you don't have a plan to back that up and actually get them results, well, the high level business owner is going to see right through that. And they're going to say things like, you know what, we just don't want to pay that much, or maybe next quarter, or let me get back to you after I talk to my business partner. When you're hearing things like that, it's because they do not see the value in the plan that you provided them. And a lot of times videographers don't show any plan at all. It's just, hey, I can make you a cool looking video. And if you don't have the plan, you're automatically going to be fighting an uphill battle. Now, one of the things I never do is I never, ever, ever assume that I know what the client needs until I have a good in-depth conversation with them, until I go through an onboarding process, a discovery process. There's a lot of names for this process. It's basically learning that company. So I never assume that I think I know what they need. I never go to them and say, hey, I'd like to talk to you because I think I can get you more leads. Because they might just turn around and say, hey, we already have too many leads. We have more leads than we can handle. And that just shows that I'm not listening. I'm just telling them what I think their business needs. And I really don't have any of that knowledge until I have that conversation. So I go through a very in-depth onboarding process where I learn about the business. I talk to them about their business. I don't talk to them about video. I talk to them about what their priorities are. Why are those your priorities? Like, what happens if you don't achieve your priorities right now? How urgent is that? What is it exactly it is that you do for your clients, and how are you making your clients' lives better? Like, I have a super in-depth onboarding and application process. This right here, these questions are a fraction of the questions that I ask. And I ask all of these before I ever say, okay, I think that we need this video or that video, or I think this drone video would be awesome. Like, I'm thinking business before I'm thinking video. Every single time that either I approach a client or a client approaches me, okay? Because in reality, until I have an in-depth understanding of that business, there's no way for me to create a plan that's going to help them get the results that they want. And if I create something and it's not the right plan and it doesn't get them results, then it's a complete waste of time and it's a complete waste of their money. And I don't want to have the reputation of not getting my clients results. I need to understand them like the back of my hand, almost to the point where I can hop in front of the camera and I can be a spokesperson for their company. I need to know them that well before I can do that. And only then do I start to suggest what type of videos or what type of video strategy. And what I find is that when I'm sitting across the table from the director of marketing of a big company or the CEO of a tech company, what I find and what I have found is that when I talk to them about their business first, and I'm talking to them on this high level, and then I talk video as the plan, they respect me and they see me as somebody that's credible and has the knowledge on putting something together that's actually going to get them the results. And that's when I start to close these bigger clients and these bigger deals. So for those of you who haven't really dove into the business part, I would highly suggest to learn that part, because if you are hearing things like, we'll get back to you, send me a proposal and I'll let you know, that's too much money, we don't want to spend that much, we'll look into it next quarter. When you're hearing those things, it's because you haven't focused on the business side. More times than not, when I have one-to-one conversation with filmmakers, I take a look at their portfolio and their portfolio is good. It's not their video work that's suffering, it's their understanding of business knowledge, okay? Okay, so this part right here, tactics versus logistics. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off of the screen share. So we're gonna get into a lot of what I learned in the military and in understanding of tactics and logistics. And maybe you've never heard or even thought about this kind of stuff, but I wanna get everybody's kind of initial thoughts to these two words, tactics and logistics. So if I was to say, would you consider yourself a more tactical video production or a more logistical video production? I want to see a show of hands and see who would pick what. That way I can kind of gauge the understanding of everybody. So for anybody that would say, just kind of my understanding of those words, who would say tactical video production company? Raise your hands. Okay, Nacho, we got quite a few people. Okay. Nacho, you raised your hand first. I want to kind of get your thoughts on that. When I say that word tactical, what does that mean to you in your video production company? Go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go.
I guess when I think about logistics, it's kind of like, how do I get the video to them? But then, like you were saying before, what's the video strategy behind it? Why we're making a video in the first place? So that's I guess like I don't understand like what is tactic in this sense,
Okay.
but you know, going to logistics, I'm like, well, I'm somehow going to get the video one way or another. But like you were saying, what's the results that this video is going to bring for them?
Okay. Ooh, I just broke my chair. Hopefully I don't fall down. Okay, well, no, that's awesome. So that's a great take on it, and I'm going to expand on that. A lot of people probably haven't even thought about this kind of stuff, so I'll expand upon it. But who would say logistical videographer? Anybody? Angela, I see your hand there. Angela, you want to kind of chime in there and see what you're thinking?
Well, I guess if the way I look at it is if I'm not tactical, I got to be the other is logistical. I don't know. I'm kind of just waiting to see your definition on them.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I guess it would make a lot more sense if you had a military background like I do. So let me kind of describe my understanding of this. Now, when I came into the Army, I was the absolute lowest rank in the military. And can you guys see my screen, or am I just looking at this myself? I don't think you can see my screen. There we go. Now you guys should be able to see the screen again. Okay. All right. So when I came into the military, I was the lowest rank. I was an E1. I was a private. And I had no idea what tactics and logistics were. This quote was given to me very early on in my military career. And as I progressed through my military career and started to understand the difference, it made a lot of sense. And this was real world application of using this information. When I decided to launch my business, I knew that if I focused on this principle, I was going to be able to get my clients results. And if I was going to be able to get my clients results, then I was going to be worth a lot of money, and I'd be able to charge higher prices. I'd be able to attract bigger clients. Okay. So this quote is again from a Marine Corps general. His name is Robert Barrow. And he said, amateurs talk tactics, but professionals study logistics. Okay. So when I started to kind of launch before we get to that, let me explain logistics from a military point of view and how we applied this in the military. Okay. So logistics is basically a systematic approach and process to moving something, regardless of that, if you're moving an army or if you're delivering a package with UPS, whatever it is, it's a systematic approach to moving something. In the military, it basically follows, 6 kind of steps. First step is think about intelligence, reconnaissance, mission planning. So this is where like the generals and all the officers get together in a war room, and they basically say, okay, this is why we want to do this mission. Okay, this is the purpose of this mission. Here are all the assets that we need in order to accomplish this mission. We need troops, we need supplies, we need communications, we need food and water. Here's everything that goes into it. This is why we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to do it. So basically, they plan out an entire operation. Once they kind of discuss that and figure out why and how, then they have to start training, right? They have to start gathering all the assets. This is when all the privates get together, and they threw me and all my buddies out into the training field and start really kind of preparing for the mission. We gather everything up, make sure everything's looking right. We rehearse everything. We get everything prepared before we start moving. Once all of that is done, the execution of movement, right? So they deploy the assets. They either stick us on an airplane, they stuck us on a ship, they made us walk, they got us moving to where we needed to go in order to carry out whatever mission it was that we were doing. Once we got to that location, that's when we carry out the mission, right? So that's where, if it's a humanitarian mission or a force protection mission or a combat mission, whatever it was, we've planned for it, we've prepared for it, we started moving. Now we're here. Now we're going to carry out our mission. The purpose is whatever it is that we're doing at this point. Okay. After the mission, there's always basically a meeting where they come back together and say, okay, what went well? What did we do great? Where do we need to fix in order for us to do better, right? We're going to analyze everything that happened. And then if there's a follow-on mission and we need to repeat this, then we what's called adjust, fire, and re-engage. So we basically adjust the things that we need to adjust, and then we go do it again, okay? So that's what happens from a military standpoint. And when I started to like think about, okay, I'm going to launch my video production company, I need to make sure that I'm being more logistical than I am tactical. These are the kind of images that I had in my head, right? So like this guy on the left is super tactical. This guy is individual, right? This is one person and he has very tactical movements that are essential to the mission accomplishment, right? So a tactic is a very specific thing or action, right? So like for this guy, it's maybe something like I'm going to aim, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to move. I'm going to aim, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to move, right? This guy is very, very tactical. But if he does not have the support of all of the logistics that go into making a mission or an operation successful, then he's not going to be successful, right? If his mission is 500 miles away and he doesn't have transportation, he doesn't have an airplane to hop on to go to that mission, he doesn't have the logistical support, he is not going to be successful in his mission, okay? So when I started to think about video production, I was like, all right, so this guy on the right is very tactical right now, right? He's got this super awesome cinema camera, the red camera. He's got a cinema lens there. He's got this awesome stabilization unit. He's in a super, super cool location. He's very tactical at this point, right? Which is 100% necessary because you need the tactics to create the video. However, if he does not have the logistical support, then the video that he is creating is not going to accomplish the purpose for why it is being created. So when I started to look into, okay, how do I apply this philosophy to my video production company? Here's what I came up with. What are we doing from a commercial and corporate video production and strategy standpoint? What are we actually in the business of? Well, there's a few parts. So as a videographer, we are in the business of storytelling. We create stories, we create really good looking videos, right? But if you want to work in the corporate and commercial space, you're also in the business of moving information. The business owner has a message and he needs to deliver it to somebody else. And if you don't understand the delivery of that, if all you understand is the video part and the storytelling part, then you're not going to be able to separate yourself from the thousands of other videographers that are out there. So I started thinking about like the planning phase. What does this mean? So, you know, I get into the war room with this CEO, with this director of marketing, and we start to discuss, why do we need video in the first place? What is the purpose of us actually doing this? What resources do we need? How many videos are we going to need? Like, what is this all like? What do we need to put together in order to make this successful and get a return on investment? This planning phase is very, very important. Once we have planned everything out, then we prepare. We actually prepare the videos, right? This is where we go into pre-production, production, and post-production. We break out our drones, we break out our gimbals and our lights and our audio equipment, and then we go do what we love to do, okay? What I find, and what was already mentioned earlier in the introductions, is that a lot of people focus, 90% of their effort right here on the video part, right? They focus 10% of the effort on the planning part, and they don't focus about any of the rest of this, okay? So I'm going to raise my hand because I've done this, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. And if you're willing to raise your hand and call yourself out a little bit as well, raise your hand. But how many of us have created a video and handed it to the business owner and that was it? And just said, there you go, Mr. Business Owner. Hope you can go ahead and get results out of it. How many of us have done that? Okay. Even though I told myself I'm going to be logistical and not just tactical, the very first client that I had, I just said, here you go. I was so excited that I made a video and it looked good. And I handed it over and I was like, sweet. And I focused none of the movement of that video. And what happened when I went back to that customer 3 months later and I said, hey, Mr. Customer, how did that video work out for you? They basically told me, you know what? It didn't really do anything. It didn't give me any results. I didn't see any results, or at least not any that I noticed, right? My sales didn't go up. You know, we got a few thousand views and a couple people commented on it, but it didn't really drive any results. And that hit me, right? And even though I knew the logistics was the most important part of that, I still handed it off and I got 0 results. And that's when it hammered in my head, really, okay, this is about logistics. And the reality is that when they said that it didn't get any results, 1, I felt bad, but 2, I automatically thought, well, this customer is not going to ask me to make 4 or 5 more videos for them and want to pay me $10,000 because it didn't get them any results. What would the point be of them paying me more money, right? They're certainly not going to send me any more customers, right? They're not going to refer their other business friends, because even though I create a good looking video, why would you spend money if the video is not going to get results? Okay. So if you've done that and you continue to do that, you need to start transitioning your mind of there's more to this than just the video. I actually have to make sure that this person is distributing the video correctly. Okay. And I'm going to go back to my screen here. There we go. Okay. So the most important part of this, guys, and where the check is signed and the contract is signed and the deal is closed, is in the planning aspect. Okay, this is where I'm talking business. I am not talking video. This is the most important part. I spend more than half of my efforts in this part, and then I go into all this other stuff. Okay, planning is extremely important. What is the purpose of this video strategy we are going to implement for you? If I want to sell you 7 videos or 20 videos, what is the purpose of it? What are we trying to accomplish? Let's define that clearly. What is the correct video to use, right? I wonder how many of us just create, you know, the same video for every single client, right? Like, okay, I know I'm really good at creating this one video, so I want to create this for every single client. Reality is, that might not be the appropriate video for every single client. So are we identifying the correct video to use? Are we identifying the audience? Do we know clearly who we're trying to hit, right? And who we're trying to target? This guy that's filming this video outdoors, maybe he's filming for a company like REI or some sort of outdoor company. Do we understand the audience that REI or the outdoor company is really trying to target? Can we tell our client, listen, we want to target people from the age range of 18 to 55 who are both male and female, have an interest in athletics, have an interest in camping, fishing, hunting, outdoors, climbing? Like, are we targeting the right people, right? And a lot of videographers never even go into that. They just go into, I can make you a cool video. We have to understand the audience, because if we don't understand the audience, how are you going to make a video that's going to make them take an action on the back end? Okay. Understand the audience. How can we locate this audience, and how can we distribute the video to them? Maybe it's as simple as your audience is your own employees, and you're going to put all your employees in a conference room, and you're going to put the video on the big screen, and you're going to click play. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's more complex, like you need to reach somebody on the other side of the country. You're in California, you need to reach somebody in North Carolina. How are you going to do that? What are the distribution platforms that are going to work for you? Is it television? Is it email marketing with video campaigns embedded? Is it social media? I have audio equipment. Can I do it via radio? Where's the distribution platforms that are going to work best for me? And if it's on social media, which platform is going to be the best for this particular project? Is Facebook going to be better than LinkedIn? Is Instagram going to be better than YouTube? Which is the platform that is going to work best for my product, my project, my employee, and my audience? Where is that distribution channel? How can I get this in front of my clients or the people the audience that we need to be hitting? How are we going to get the audience to take an action? Is the audience supposed to call us? Are they supposed to book a demo? Are they supposed to give us their email address? Are they supposed to come and visit us? What is the call to action? If you book a deal with a dentist and that dentist is not a marketing expert, they probably don't understand a call to action. We have to be able to advise them on how to get their audience to take an action. And once that action is taken, how do we measure that action? How do we go back after the fact and see what it is that happened? That way we can adjust, right? We have testing, so we put it out there, we test, we see what happened, we take all the measurements, we can adjust, and then we can retarget more effectively. How can we do that, right? Retargeting is really, really big. Again, most people that are struggling to get consistent business in the video production world or getting higher clients, it's because they're focusing the majority of their efforts right here. And guess what, guys? There's thousands of other people that do this. There's thousands of other people that are probably better at doing this than you are and might even do it for a lower price than you do. So if you want to beat out all those people, you better come to the table with something better than just, I do this. You better come with a plan. And that's what really separates you from everybody else. So when I go into meetings with CEOs, with directors of marketing, I'm coming talking about all of this. I'm not just saying, hey, I've got a cool 4K camera. I'm coming to the table with a plan that is going to show my clients or my prospective clients that I am going to get them results. That's where the deal is closed. So this, guys, is a very simple strategy, a funnel, whatever you want to call it, guys. I just call it a plan. You know, I'm not going to get into all those fancy buzzwords like funnels and like, this is just my plan. I come to the table with a plan, okay? In this plan, this is a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 video plan. In this plan, there's 11 videos throughout an entire process. If a customer tells me I want to increase my sales, this is a very simple plan that I can put on the table that makes sense for that business owner. And this is very much a scaled down plan of what I put together for the custom home builder that we're going to talk about next. So I want to talk about this very briefly so that people can understand this. And we'll go from the aspect of somebody that wants to buy an engagement ring. Okay, they're thinking about proposing to the person that they love, and they want to buy an engagement ring. So they start looking online, they start doing a little bit of research, and then out of nowhere, guess what? They see a promo video, a little quick 15, 20-second promo video for a local custom jeweler. And they're like, hey, that's kind of cool, right? So the video pops up, and maybe they engage with this video, maybe they don't, right? If they don't engage with it, okay, they kind of go over here. If they do engage with it, maybe they watched like half of that video, maybe they liked it, commented on it, tagged somebody, shared it, whatever it is. If they engaged with it, but they didn't go to the website, we just target them again, right? So this is where understanding of the data and what happened in our first little bit of this plan is that we engaged and we saw the actions, and based on the actions, we can retarget. So if they engaged, hey, maybe next time they see an Instagram video, right? A different video, but from the same company. Okay, this time they're like, well, let me go check out this website. I've seen it a couple times. I'm going to check out the website. A lot of really crucial things happen from an analysis standpoint and a data gathering standpoint. It happens right here on the website, okay? But once they get to the website, they're hit with a couple of more videos. Maybe they have like a branding video or a brand message video or whatever you want to call this video, just a video telling them who the jeweler is, what the jeweler does, why they should buy from this jeweler, what separates this jeweler, all that good stuff, right? So they see a brand message video, maybe they see a couple of testimonial videos to get some social proof, and a lot of stuff happens here, okay? Hopefully at this point we start to get their email address. But even if we did not get their email address, we started to collect a lot of important data. And I'm going to have Marc kind of explain a little bit of what happens right here at the website once you get somebody there. Marc, can you kind of expand upon that?
Sure. So our goal should always be to get them to the website. Ideally, we'd like them to convert into a lead on the website, fill out a form or contact us. But if they don't, we can still do a lot. So if they go to the website through a Facebook ad and we have our Facebook pixel installed, we can retarget them on Facebook or Instagram. If we have our YouTube or Snapchat pixel installed and they came in through Facebook, then we can retarget them on YouTube or Snapchat. So we're getting in front of them on all the major platforms, regardless of which one they came in on, because we got them to the website and all these pixels communicate with each other. YouTube will say to Facebook, hey, Joe came in from YouTube, but he's got a Facebook, and now you can target him on there. Another thing we can do is start to build an audience. All these pixels will start to realize, okay, in the past 30 days, 60% of your traffic have been men ages, 24 to 40. And they have these interests, or they live in this location, or they have this income. And then you can begin to hone your target audience based on who's actually going to your site. Another thing we can do with all this data is we can then take that target audience and create a lookalike audience. So we can say, now we want to target all the men in the area who have all these same interests and tendencies, but haven't gone to our website. Now let's throw an ad at them. So there's an endless amount of stuff we can do here once we get them to the website. And it's absolutely crucial because studies show it typically takes someone up to 7 times seeing something before they pull the trigger on making a purchase. So we want to get in front of them on as many channels as possible. And it's going to really maximize the ROI for your customer.
So yeah, getting here is very crucial. We can collect a lot of data and we can do a lot of things once you get somebody here. If they don't convert into a lead, right, they leave the website, they don't purchase, that is okay. But at least we've got a lot of data about them specifically and people that would match those same characteristics. If they don't convert to a lead, we can retarget again and again and again. And once we kind of have that data, then we can start cross promoting. So when I was looking for engagement rings, because I recently got engaged, I saw a couple of here, right? I saw a couple here. Once I went to that website, or I started seeing videos on YouTube, I started seeing videos on LinkedIn, I started seeing videos on Instagram and Snapchat, and it was crazy. They were all coming from the same place, but it exploded once I got to this point. And it's funny because there was a couple of times that I was sitting next to my fiance and I went to YouTube, and all of a sudden I started getting all these ads, and I had to get off of YouTube because I thought it was going to blow my cover and she was going to know that I was proposing because she knows a little bit about this stuff. So getting the website is crucial. That way allows us to retarget a lot. If they do convert, we're always asking, do you want repeat and referral business, right? If one of your clients says, no, I don't want repeat business, I don't want referral business, straight up tell them that they need to rethink their business strategy, right? Nobody has ever told me this, but I think I'd straight up tell them, rethink your business strategy, right? Once you get one sale, it does not stop there. It takes a lot to get somebody through all of this. And once you get them to the point where they buy, you want that person coming back over and over and over and over again. So for a custom jeweler, you might be able to, now that you've got their email, send out like email campaigns with video assets embedded in those emails saying, hey, Valentine's Day is coming up. Come and get your jewelry. Hey, your anniversary is coming up. Come and get your jewelry. Hey, you bought your engagement ring from us. Now it's time to buy your wedding bands. Or maybe even stuff like, you bought from us. I hope the experience was great. Thanks for coming back. Let your friends and family know if they come to us and you refer them, we'll give them a 10% discount. How can we continue to build the sales and engagement in the brand after the sale is complete, right? The sale doesn't end here. Also, once we get to the point where they have purchased, then we, again, like Mark talked about, we can take all the analytics, we can take all the information from the pixels, and we can multiply that audience. We can take all that information and say, okay, we've got 30 customers, 50 customers, 100 customers that match these characteristics. Hey, I want you to go Google or Facebook or Instagram. I want you to target everybody in the city, state, region, country. I want you to target everybody that shares these characteristics. Okay. Now, guys, this is again a pretty simplified plan. The purpose of me showing you this is because this is what I come to the table with. I come to the table with a plan. Now, oddly enough, guys, I don't like handling Facebook ads. I don't like running ad campaigns. It is not my thing, and I do not do it. So I partner with Marc on a lot of these projects. So when I go to the table and I lay out this entire strategy, what I find is that it's important for me to understand this information, because when I lay out the plan, then that allows me to close that deal, because the business owner sees that I'm talking on a higher level. Okay. If they already have a marketing department that can run with that and I can collaborate with them, then their marketing department takes that and runs with it. If the customer says, okay, I love this strategy, thank you for laying it out for me, I want to go ahead and implement this on my own, I hand them the entire strategy. I hand them the blueprint and they go and try it on their own. If they say, David, do you handle this? I basically tell them no. I'm going to go ahead and bring Marc in. He's the guy that handles this to a T. I'll create the video projects and all the video assets. I'll complete that for you. We're going to hand it off to Marc. He's going to handle the logistical distribution of these video assets and implement the plan. And that works very well for me, right? Because it keeps me on the camera. It keeps me doing what I love doing, but it also allows me to speak at that higher level and separate from everybody else in my area. Okay. So we're going to talk real quick about this $150,000 deal. Then I'm going to open up for questions and answering a lot of stuff. So this is a home builder. They're a custom home builder. They only build in Texas. They're not a giant home builder, guys. They build on average anywhere between 400 to 500 homes per year. Okay. So they're not like a giant production builder that builds nationwide, that, builds tens of thousands of homes every year. And yet this one builder is paying me $150,000. So basically a 15-month contract, $10,000 per month. Deliverables on my end are, depending on the month and depending on the videos that we're creating, anywhere between 3 to 4 videos per month, and supportive distribution strategies. Now guys, 3 to 4 videos per month is not a lot, right? So usually we'll create we'll film 1 video per day. Sometimes we'll film 2 videos per day. And then I hand the raw footage over to my editor and they take care of that. So on average for this company, I'm working anywhere between 3 to 4 days a month, and they're paying me $150,000, which means that I have every month 25 to 27 days additional that I can go book other retainer-based clients. So those are the deliverables. But guys, the focus, what are we trying to accomplish? Why are we making these videos? All that stuff in the planning phase that I talked about, we found out. This conversation with this builder took about 2.5 months of talking business and understanding what they were trying to accomplish, for me to get to a point where I knew what I was going to create and what I was focusing on. The focus for them was branding, quality control from the customer voice, generating qualified leads, not just random leads, but qualified leads, people who are ready to actually come in and buy a home, saving time for their sales staff, making sure that their prospective home builder clients understood the financing options, because they've got a real cool financing option that gives them kind of an advantage compared to other builders in the area. They also want their current customers, the ones that are going through the building process, to be aware of what's happening throughout the building process. What happens when your foundation goes down? What happens when your framing goes up? Throughout the process, what can that person or that customer expect? And then they also want repeat business. So based on what I found out of their business and their brand and their priorities and their focus, we created an entire strategy based on this. And we laid it out. We discussed how many videos per month. We discussed which videos we were going to create. And we ended on a $150,000 deal, which honestly, guys, doesn't take me very much time to complete. Again, 4 videos per month, and that's a $150,000 client for me and my team. Okay. So let me go ahead and stop sharing. All right, y'all. Super glad that you were able to join our webinar. And now that you have, I've got a couple of questions for you. How are you feeling right now about your knowledge of the business and strategy side of corporate and commercial video production work? How confident are you currently that you can get in front of the right people and deliver to them a plan that's actually going to get them results? Or are you just kind of handing over a video and hoping that it works? Guys, if that's the case and you're struggling to get business and you're wondering why, chances are that's the missing puzzle, and that is quite all right. That's the whole reason that we created the Real Deal Video Strategist Club, because the majority of the people who join our club are probably in your shoes. They're very, very good at working their camera and their lights and their audio, and they can tell an awesome story, and yet they struggle to get in front of the right people and close bigger deals. And it's mainly because that business part, that strategy part is the missing puzzle. If that's you, we want to invite you into the Real Deal Video Strategist Club. What we've put together is a course and a club that teaches you so many different things on so many different topics, from getting in front of the right people to diagnosing their problems to building out an entire multi-video strategy that's going to get them results. We teach you step by step all the logistical stuff on how to move that information. So everything from Facebook, YouTube, MailChimp, Instagram, Snapchat, we teach you how to use all those platforms to move your videos in order for them to be seen by the audience that they're intended to be seen by. If you're able to deliver a plan that makes sense, if you can show your potential clients that you are a video strategist that understands their business and you can get them results through the use of video strategy, trust me, guys, it's a whole lot easier to book and land bigger, better clients when you're able to do that. We want to invite you into our club, the Real Deal Video Strategist Club. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to chat with you. If you're ready to go and take that next step, the button's right there. And go ahead and click on it. Join our club. You're going to learn so much, and it's going to expand your skill set and take you from being that camera operator who's currently struggling and turn you into a Real Deal Video Strategist that actually thrives and has an awesome, awesome video production and strategy company. With that said, guys, I hope that you really got some value from the webinar. You can watch the question and answer session in the separate video right below this. If you have any questions, like I said, reach out to us via email, and we'd be happy to chat and hopefully see you in the Real Deal Video Strategist Club. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you around.